Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Gold, as you all know. And I welcome to Koke radio and television station where they give a back to back as it happen. As it is suburb, you know. Still on this Kogi, Imo and Bayelsa gubernatorial election where the suburb everywhere that's about to come up shortly. We've gotten some report and some analysis on this matter, on the fear on the people, most especially the Labour Party chairman, which is Abure itself. He has spoken his mind on this note that the only fear they have now is Kogi State. Kogi people, I don't know why people take the fear on an election like this. All right, on that note, someone has just came up and said it will take INEC 10 good years upwards to really restore back the confidence of the people due to the drama and one of the things that's happened in this 2023 presidential election in Nigeria and the result which the people got in rewards. Now, this person has said, in fact, that INEC and the government or the candidate are failed to realize the fact that when you are casting your vote, that people are casting their life, their blood. For instance, that if anything happen, maybe after the elections, after casting their vote, that they vote for people who they know that can come up for them at any time. That whenever they are passing through one or two challenges, they can easily give complaint and it can easily be noted and be resolved.
Well, to tell you the truth, I acknowledge the insecurity and it's a big component of voter confidence, right? But the biggest letdown I see here is on the confidence people have on INEC as an entity. And in my own analysis, I believe that it will take INEC an upwards of 10 years to restore the confidence they so flippantly lost in 2023. And that's my own personal analysis, because you have to conduct at least 2 presidential elections to be able to convince the ordinary Nigerians that you're now ready for their
but I mean, it can be incremental.
Yes, so
because
you take it
we've got this election
yes,
coming up.
Yes.
And INEC is trying to put in confidence building measures. One of them is to say that if there is violence in a polling booth, a polling unit, we will not count the results in that polling unit.
It's interesting that they will say that, because in one of our studies we found out something that is called selective application of violence. And what you call selective application of violence is, if I am a candidate running for office, I should be able to know where I should, do well in terms of polls. I also would be able to determine where I will not win the elections. And in that case, I can sponsor my people to go in those opposition strongholds to cause violence. And so if you have an INEC whose template is we will not count anywhere there is violence.
So we can go and disrupt the election
so
and then you won't count.
You're now encouraging politicians to do election.
Yeah,
that's what
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense to me. And I said this again, that INEC has to be conscious and again, it's not just INEC now. What I've seen across Nigeria is this gradual decline in trust. And trust is a very big entity when you talk about societal cohesion. Whether you're talking about the judiciary, police, it's declining. And then when you get to that, you don't longer leave things to institutions to manage. I'll give you an instance. By 14 minutes past 1 p.m. on the presidential election, the February 25th, INEC, we are still recruiting ad hoc staff in Anambra State. And we have evidence to this. And so where you can't do the basic that we expect you to do, people have to now take an oversized interest in seeing and indeed policing INEC and other people to do their jobs. And this is where I invite Nigerians that we have to look at our laws, we have to look at participation. Gone are the days where you lay back and you expect the organizations to do their bits. Now you have to be involved in the process to make sure that even when you discover that they are not able to do their bit, that you encourage them and keep their feet to fire until they do that. Let me say this. I don't believe the people we have in positions of responsibility have the full appreciation of what people do when they vote. For instance, for a woman take any community in Mango local government of Plateau State, when they vote, they are not giving you just votes, they are giving you their lives. Because shortly after that election, herdsmen will attack. And they are looking at who do we call in the middle of the night that can save us. For the pregnant woman, they will go to the hospital and they will not find medical disposables. And for the other person, you might have accident on the road, and you will find emergencies. So when people vote, they are giving you their blood, they are giving you their life. And so what INEC is counting is, to me, is not mere ballots. They are counting the blood and life and sacrifices and aspirations of a nation. And then any time you tamper with that, it's a huge, huge letdown. You take this, for instance, our parents and your generation, of course, never really recovered from 1993. And after 1993, you saw a decline in civic participation. And 2023 was another watershed moment. And I don't expect to see decline in participation of young people. But it's beginning to happen in our conversations. And what I say to that is that we'll have to keep going at it until we're able to get to that place where votes count. As of today, it's unfortunate that people have to have this kind of discussions to talk about the confidence people have in the system. Because, for instance, you take the risk and present yourself at the polling units. With all the insecurity, you know you stand a great risk of being injured, being harmed, being maimed, or even being killed. And then you still take that risk to come out and vote. And then after that voting, something happens along the way. It's not a good experience, and I encourage our policymakers to look into it.
All right, that is what he has just said. I think it's a bit clear enough for us to really understand that the reason why the fear are in the people. Coming out to vote is not the problem. No. Nigerians are ready to vote. In fact, Kogi people, both in and out, external and internal, are ready to come in, both also in abroad, US, UK, everywhere, are ready to travel down to vote for their own candidates. But one thing should be, there should be an assurance of one, security. No be saying they say can't cast your vote. We can't hear back, boss, bees. That is the fear. Number one, security. Two, assurance that their vote will really count. Due to the previous experience that we had in the presidential election, you understand? Now, the presidential election, beavers was not used. You know, but the Senate, House of Rep, local government was the IRF was used. There was no issue. There was no glitch there. But when it comes to the time of the presidential election, we now started hearing that there was a glitch. I beg, I take glitchy. What is glitch? I take, is it an electricity problem or an NEPA carry light as usual? Now this is the same fear in the people that even if we come out massively to cast our vote for our own candidates, that we think it can listen to our cry and do according to what we want to make the state a better place. It is not a problem for us to come in, but the reason is, will it count? Our vote go count? That is where the problem is. Coming out is not our problem. Casting the vote is not our problem. In fact, staying under the sun from morning till night is not our problem. But our problem is it going to count?
So if we step back a little bit to 2023 elections, build up to that, like Chima said, the build up of the violence in the southeast, that it was a precursor to the elections. And we saw the sit-at-home, issues and all that. And we saw how that impacted on the voting outcomes in the southeast in terms of numbers, those that registered versus numbers of people that came out. And then build up to this election, of course, people will first of all consider their security, their lives and livelihoods before they go out to say they want to cast any vote. Secondly, they need to have some sense of assurances that their votes will count before they even go out to vote. Because like I said earlier, the outcomes of the 2023 elections, also will determine the voter appetite, voting appetite, if you like, of the voters in this particular case in Imo State, for example, and other states that we may likely talk about. So that being said, violence is a critical failure factor, if I can twist it this way, for this election in Imo State, because the security of lives is very critical.
But it's not just Imo State, of course. I mean, there's been a lot of violence in Kogi State.
Absolutely.
We had the SDP governorship candidate here. He said there have been dozens of attacks against his team. I mean, just literally a few days ago, they were attacked, and 3 policemen who were attached to him were killed. And we can see some of those police people on our screens right now. So it's a very worrying thing, isn't it?
Absolutely, and like you said, Charles, it's permeating everywhere. The Kogi situation is also, pathetic. Build up to election. One wonders how people, that the right people, the innocent citizens of this country that can be able to come out with the confidence to exercise their franchise, especially also with the bric-a-brac and the accusations and counter-accusations of the involvement of security agencies, neck deep or hand deep into, collaborating with whichever, to favor whoever. Thankfully, we saw the move by the Inspector General of Police to redeploy some of these commissioners of police, but it should go beyond that, to be honest, to build that confidence. And if you flip the coin now to say, if INEC is ready, is the security situation right for people to exercise their franchise? It's a very valid point for us to note and to consider.
All right, my people, it is not our fault actually, and it's not the fault of the citizen of Nigeria, but the problem we have in this country is you see this word godfatherism. See this fatherism, and man no man, na make man they do man. When you have somebody at the top who this man is a godfather to you, and he has a capacity to give to you anything you want, now in the Dabaru Nigeria, it's until we've come to realize that, or at the point we've come to realize at the point that in this life, when you don't do your own, is another man's turn. That is turn by turn, just like a milokon. Even though you never reach you want to say in lokon, it take come by fire by force. Nigeria accept, no problem, but the result we are getting afterward is not really palatable. This is the same fear in the people that even if we don't have the best president, but as a state, we should be able to have a good governor. If my governor is good and is doing the right thing, I don't think I have a problem. I don't think so. Because if things are in pleasant places, are working well in my state, then I think I don't have business with the president. Even though the president is the one that gives allocations to the state or whatever. But irrespective of the allocation given to the state, if my own governor will use it well, I mean, my state, your state, will be like a small London. That is where the problem is now. Voting is now a problem. Like I said, we can be under the rain. Why the sun shine, whatever. We go there and we cast our vote. But there's no assurance any longer that our vote will count. The fear is there, threats to life, insecurity, and afterwards there will be an enforcement of power. So why the voting? So I mean, this is really going to take 1,000 years for INEC chairman or INEC as a body to restore back their integrity, because they have lost it. They have lost it from this generation. And this is a technological generation that we don't forget things easily. Is computerized, is documents. This is one you are watching right away. This one will be on YouTube forever, for thousands of years. And these are documents piling up for the next generation coming on board to hear and see what our forefathers did. That time maybe you don't die, me I don't die. They are our forefathers. Just where we do say our forefathers. What record are we going to keep for the upcoming generations? What foundation are we building for the upcoming generation? These are the basic facts we need to be talking about as a country. Because that we are Nigerian does not really mean that we are black men, does not really mean our hearts will be black. Oh, so are we saying because we are black, so everything about us will be black? No wonder even the whites are scared of us. Because of this dubious character, dubious mentality, that when you give a black man a little chance, he misuse the chance. Make we change for this country. Let these people, and the major people will be the basic problem, now the politicians. And I wouldn't blame the politician, because even the citizen, once you don't come share rice, one model of rice, one sachet of tomato, 15 naira Maggi, you put sachet of salt, back and with 1,000 naira inside envelope, you don't finish your vote for you. They will not sell their vote and suffer for 8 good years again. We need to change Nigerians. Let's take back our country and stand our ground and say no to this bad government, and say no to it. So I don't talk my own at this junction. I don't put you on my mouth. Bye. ọmọ ní ìfowó ṣe ni ọmọ ní ìfowó ṣe ni bóyá sanwó mi kò bá tètè